Hey everybody, this is Herschel from High School Top 200. This Auckland Grammar review of 2016 is brought to you by Fineline Barbers. They've joined up with another barbering supplier here in New Zealand, and they're bringing to you the Aotearoa Barber Competition. This Aotearoa Barber Competition will take place in September 2017. What Fineline Barbers is going to do is that they're going to set up a Facebook page and an Instagram page so that barbers from around the country can upload their work for us to see as a public. We'll be able to follow different barbers from around the country and be able to see what talent that we have. This is to bring to the front the barbering industry and what they have to offer here in New Zealand, and sort of the growing talent that it also brings as well. This will be taking place in September next year. You don't have to have a certificate. Barbering certificate to take part, and then they're just going to go out there and find the best barbers that they have in New Zealand. It's going to be a fun day. Aotearoa Barber Competition, 2017 and September 2017. Whenever I think of grammar, I always think of I always see them and think of them as a team that you just can't take lightly. Because they have so much talent, it's like even their down year is not actually a down year. It's just a down year for them. But they're still really good, and so like even when you think that they might not be as strong, for some reason they're always just really strong. And so, like, that's just one of those teams that I would tell any team, don't worry about who's left, worry about who's coming through, because the guys that just missed out on first 15, they are just the same as the person that made the first 15. They've always just got talent there hidden somewhere, and so like they're always the team that I think everyone should be just at least a little bit wary of their talents, even as good as your team may be. So, like, Grammar's always that team that I always think of. Now, speaking about Grammar, this year was actually kind of a down year for them, and they still weren't that bad. Like, I personally didn't think that they were that bad. I thought that they, with the team that they sort of put together, and the young people that they brought in, as well as joining them up with the older guys and the more experienced guys, I thought they had a really good mix, and I thought that they actually put them into a position where they felt that they had a winning structure in front of them, which they did. I thought that they did. I thought that they brought together a good team and a good mix of combinations that were in there too, young and old players as well. Obviously, their best player this year was Sione, Tofo, whatever you call him, or whatever you're used to calling him. So Sione Havili was probably was their best player. Got the best player award, bronze boot or gold boot or something. And he's actually one of those players that I think is going to go a long way as well. Like I think he'll end up on Sky TV just like a lot of these other talented kids that are coming out. And I think he's one of those players. But he had really good backup. I thought that him, I think for Sione, because they had Tovu Faleafa there as well, I think it allowed Sione to move around where was needed, because they had them two, and then they had Sam Johnson, who was also a really strong player. So Sione didn't have to stay at number 8, and he didn't have to be at 6 because Tovu was there as well, and then they could actually move them around depending on where they needed to be. Jeffrey Ikani, I think his name was. He was another player that was sort of sitting there on the side kind of thing, that was also a really good backup to come in. Taylor McRoberts was another kid that I thought was really good too, who could switch and change and stuff like that between the loose forwards as well, which also gave them another dynamic. Finn Perkison was always there, which was great because he took care of that line-out problem. He was always sort of that go-to guy. They had that Eden kid as well. I think he was Argentinian or something like that. He was also a pretty good player himself. But Kanan, I think, was probably him and Sione took care of most of the attack. Kanan dropped 20 plus kgs and then found that he had a different dynamic to his game that he didn't know that he had. He was turned into sort of a prop number 8 kind of player. He broke the line where he wasn't used to really breaking the line, and that was all cool. But the thing that I think Kanan had to kind of get used to was that, all right, you're fast, you're fit, you're more explosive, but at the same time, you're not carrying that weight that you used to that kind of got you out of other certain problems. Now, when those other certain problems came into the game, like scrum time, you can't think I'm still that big boy again, because now you have to rely a lot on your technique, not just power. Because when you get into like first 15, there's a lot of guys who are technically sound when it comes to scrummage. So like even a guy that's big and strong, a guy who's technically sound could waste a guy who's big and strong. So Kanan had to sort of find that technical side about himself, forget about the fact that he's not a big boy anymore, and then he had to work on those skills in terms of scrummaging. Even with cleaning out rucks, before he used to come and clean out and just bash and then everyone would go flying kind of thing. Now he'll run and go bang, and then he'll stop, and then he'll have to pick up a leg, drive him over, things like that. So like it took a little bit for him to get into that mindset that, okay, I'm not a big boy anymore, let's find different ways about to doing it. He did in the end, because he had like a really good season. And so with the forward pack, that's kind of how it turned out to me and how I kind of saw it. Lino in the back line was good. I really liked him. Rodney is another guy I like, even with Simeon and Callum Bean. And so like some of these guys will be coming back, which is really good, because then we get to see them again. Corey Evans is a kid I really, really like that first 5. And I think he's only going to get better. I think Simeon Latu's going to move maybe into second 5, because I've been seeing him in second 5 quite a bit. And if you have Corey, Simeon, Rodney, Callum at the back, that is a backline that you can't mess around with. That's going to be a really good backline. And it's going to be one that you're going to have to watch out for every single week, because that's just too much talent and speed. And then Simeon and Rodney in the centres that's powerful. That's just going to be a lot of power, a lot of explosiveness. And if Corey gets his organising down and keeps it consistent throughout the game, and with his kicking game, man, that's going to be a bad backline. And then having Callum at the back, and then once he starts gaining a little bit more weight and then breaking through the line instead of setting somebody else up to break it and him just breaking it himself, and that's just going to come with maturing and putting on weight and getting bigger and things like that. This team's going to be a hard one. This backline is going to be a hard one to take care of. Sola Mau, or Mau, however you pronounce it, like this kid is good. Like I really like this dude too. I think that he was like I thought he was a really strong physical prop. Another guy, Hector Law, who I thought was really good too. And I know he can come back next year, but I don't think he is. He's young enough to come back, but I'm not too sure if he is. I heard he's a real smart dude, so no real reason why. I mean, but that's kind of up to him, like depending on what trail he wants to go on. But I think he'll be a really good rugby player too. But I think Grammar's going to be set for next year, and Grammar's actually one of my favourite teams for next year. Just off the top of my head, kind of thing, and just looking at what rosters they have coming back. That's the team that I'm excited to see what they bring back and see how they structure it. One bad year is one bad year. It's like, yeah, whatever. We'll just wait for next year. Obviously, the worst game that they probably had was Mags. I thought someone was trying to be funny when they told me that they lost by 50-0. I was like, yeah, whatever. I just saw them a couple of weeks ago take apart only hung at 61-0. I was like, don't tell me. Yeah, and then I actually got the scores back. I was like, oh, shoot. was like, well, that did happen, you know, like things like that. So I was thinking, oh, okay then. But you know, that's just one game. That was just one game. That actually, I think, started that little streak of them losing because they lost 4 straight. But I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. Next year's going to be mean for them. They're going to be really good, talented team coming back. I look forward to seeing them again. This is my review of Grammar. Peace.